In 2016, there was a huge casualty, birds just washing up on shore off the cliffs, and approximately 60,000 Murres, or guillemot, it's a large auk, died. At least that was the assumption in 2016 when an event referred to as the blob, which was basically a huge patch of really, really warm water in the ocean that was moving and heating up the ocean upwards of 7 degrees as it went, and killing off fish as it went. So the Murres had nothing to eat. So the nests failed. They can't have eggs if they're not healthy themselves. But now, 10 years later, they've had a chance to really, really study what's going on, and they realize they very grossly, and this was a common thing to do, governments like it when you underestimate the casualties, makes it look not so bad, and they can sell it to the public. What they're doing doesn't really matter. But no, it looks like it was closer to 6 million, roughly half of the population in Alaska of this particular bird. I know that all across the planet there are people who love to blame domestic cats for the downfall of songbirds, etc., because it couldn't possibly be us encroaching on their habitat, us heating up the planet, climate change in general, the weather catastrophes that hit, the way it's affecting how things grow. Couldn't possibly be any of that. And you know what else it couldn't possibly be, and isn't in any way going to affect the possibility of birds being able to bounce back after we've died out? Plastic. A plague upon the land. There is, I mentioned a thing called North Sentinel Island. It's South the Arctic. They have plastic debris floating up. Nobody's even supposed to be going within 5 miles or 3 kilometers of this little island. They have plastic garbage on their shores because the civilized world got this obsession with plastic in the early 70s, a little bit before that, but the 70s it really started to kick into high gear. And suddenly everything was made of plastic. And yes, to a large degree at the time, people were going, this is great plastic. If I accidentally drop my bottle of Coke, it won't smash. It might explode because of the carbonation, but it won't shatter into 1,000 pieces. Wonderful, wonderful. And nobody stopped to think about what we were going to be doing to ourselves and to the planet by introducing this fossil fuel product that will not rot. Although I did mention a couple of years ago, in terms of evolution, because people love to talk about humanity as if we evolved and when we really haven't. You know what did evolve? The wax moth's caterpillar. But there aren't enough of them to eat all of the plastic we produce. So between the plastic lasting hundreds of years before it is gone away, and even then it's not really gone away, it's just broken down further. So now you've got plastic that's like the grains of sand and smaller, like the microplastics that we all breathe in, breathe out, that's broken to the brain barriers. Yeah, that's shit. It's just going to be there. Oh, and don't forget the nuclear waste. Oh, and by the way, that blob phenomena I mentioned, it's happening more often now because global warming was a wrong thing to choose. It should have always been referred to as climate crisis or climate change. But warming is a big thing of what we're doing. In fact, I did videos a couple of years ago talking about how minnows and frogs were literally being boiled to death in the ocean on the shores of Vancouver.